going to introduce a fellow Texan to you now. For years, Dr. D. Ivan Young has worked with a wide variety of people one-on-one, in groups, in front of large and intimate audiences, on television and radio, helping them face and overcome their fears while giving them the tools they need to make radical changes to improve their lives and to create a solid, rewarding future. His practice, lectures, workshops, books, relaxation and meditation CDs are designed to give his clients the tools they need to transform themselves and their lives. He's the author of 2 books, Another Chance, Where Would You Be Without One? And Break Up, Don't Break Down. Dr. Young holds a Doctor of Philosophy specializing in holistic life coaching, along with a bachelor's and master's degrees in metaphysics. His talk today is entitled Purpose, Perfecting Passion. Please join me in welcoming the relationship expert, Dr. D. Ivan Young.
It's kind of hard to follow up 3 types of acts I've heard. One is children. The other one is animals. Now I know it's fairies. First, I want to say good afternoon. I'm going to need an able-bodied man or a very strong woman to get a chair and bring it up here in about 3 minutes. Okay. All right. First thing, I want you to take a good look at someone. When I was a child, I had a drug problem. A very severe drug problem. My mother drugged me to church. My father drugged me to church. They drugged me to lectures and all these things that I could never fathom. Why are you taking me to do this? And what happens in the context of this problem, I did not realize that a relationship was being created. That there was a foundation that was being set forth for such a time as now. And I'm here to say to each and every one of you that if you're in this room and you're here at this very moment during this season of your life, no matter how good or how bad things have been, you are here not by accident. You're here for a reason. And that reason is there's a purpose for your life. Can I borrow those muscles one more time? Yeah, can I borrow your muscles just one more time? I need you to hold this chair for me. He thought I was going to sit in it. I'm not that old yet. If you hold it up for me, just hold this chair. I know this thing's heavy. No, I'll be fine. Now, I don't care how strong he is, the longer he holds this chair, the greater the burden is to bear. And many of you, just like he's strong and he's holding this chair, you've been holding some burdens up for a long time. If that's just other than me, raise your hand. If you've been hanging on to something that you need someone to help you with, raise your hand. Because if you are in this room, you have to understand that. Now that relationship I was talking about, let's put it down, but don't leave me. Wouldn't it be amazing if when he got ready to pick it up, that because of my relationship with him, he told me, I'm about to pick this chair up. And I said, okay. So when he lifts it, I help him. Well, I'm here to tell you, the Holy Spirit is here to help you just like I just helped him. Which sets me up for what I want to talk to you about. You're here for a reason. It's called predestination. These things, these circumstances, these events, these people, these places, these things that you feel are happenstance and coincidence in your life, they're not. They're part of your training program. How can you comfort someone that's hurting if you've never felt pain, you've never suffered, you never lost a night's sleep to sorrow? How could you relate to them if you've never had to hope that God would supply your needs? Because surely when you went in your pocket, the only thing you pulled out was some lint. You pulled out coins when you needed dollar bills. If you hadn't lost or been betrayed, or you didn't have that loved one that no matter how much you prayed, no matter how much you asked God to change the outcome, he decided the best place for them was with him. Had you not been prepared, how could you walk into your purpose? Again, you're here for a reason. Now, the confirmation that you are in step with this divine appointment, with the manifestation that's going to take place during this season of your life, is that even your enemies have to recognize your gifts. Have you ever been somewhere and you've had someone prepare a meal, and even though you didn't like them, you had to admit the food was good, or somebody that could sing a song, even though that you didn't care for the way they acted when they weren't singing, while they were singing, you had to acknowledge that, wow, their voice is really good. Or you looked at a situation where you needed to get some help, you needed a car fix, you needed someone to give you a ride, even though you did not like them. The very fact that you had to submit your dislike to their purpose in your life was the evidence that they had something that was far greater than your opinion of them. Well, I'm here to tell you, there's some people that don't like you. Oh, you know some folks don't like you. There's some people that do not want to recognize your gift. There's some people that do not want to acknowledge your presence, and you're not going to fit into their group. But the confirmation that you are here for a reason is during your due season, they're going to have to submit their dislike, their disrespect, and their contempt, and have it submit to your gift. Don't confuse your witnesses with your supporters. Many of you today are going to block opportunities that are just around the corner. So again, you're not here by accident. But in order to remove that blockage, you are going to have to forgive. And that forgiveness is evidence. I'll give you an example. There was a guy that went and healed a lot of sick people, raised a lot of dead people. And the very people he was sent to help are the very people that said kill him. And the last act, if you're talking about someone being serious, what you do right before death is considered a very significant act. His last act before death was, he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And might I add, who they were doing it to. So your next act has to be one of forgiveness, because there's a purpose and a plan for your life. This blockage that you are going to see is going to change from being blockage to points of revelation. Revelation is where things are revealed. The way that you know that you are in step with your destiny is, one, obstacles are present. But if you had not had these obstacles, would your faith have been fortified? Would you know instead of believe in God the way you do? At this season in your life, you no longer should have faith in God. You should know Him. And if you belief by definition is what you know to be true. My question is, what do you know to be true about you? Are you still doubting yourself? Are you operating in such a way that the manifestation of your very presence changes the dynamic of the room that you're in? Are you operating in such a way? Dr. Masters used a term earlier, and that term was love. What I like about love is it has almost every definition, from love, from noun to adjective to verb. It's one of the few words that this one word takes on all these different forms. And the reason it takes on so many forms, it's because it is the only word that God declared Himself to be when He said God is love. And love is power. And if love is power, love has to likewise be energy. Can energy ever be destroyed? No. It only changes forms. So what form have you taken on as you walk within your purpose? There are going to be days. Some of these days you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel like being bothered. Is that the day that the manifestation of your true power presents itself? Or is that the day that you succumb and you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back? Are you operating in such a state at this season in your life that it's still all about you? Because if it is, I can guarantee you there will be no sanctioning of your next move. God is not going to promote you when you're promoting yourself. If you want to find out why you are not able to move forward, take a moment and look back. Meditation, affirmation. Meditation is the highest form of prayer, and affirmations are the highest form of confirmation while you are praying. What are you reaffirming to yourself? The things that you're saying about others are really indictments about you. As we take a time to look into our next season, there's this power that we must operate in. We must operate in now. Eckhart Tolle wrote a book called The Power of Now. And even if you read, and at least Christian, I'm very familiar with many religions, but the Christian one is the one I tend to practice. You will stop and it says, now faith is the substance of things that are hoped for. Where have you placed your hope? It's the evidence of that which is not seen. Are you a person that is always living in the past, or are you manifesting the unseen? Because see, the lesser known is where you've been. The greater unknown is where God is trying to take you. Are you calling those things that are not as though they are? Are you a messenger, or are you the person that's always getting the message? What are you delivering to yourself? Ask yourself now, look at the person next to you. What do you see? Are you criticizing the way they look in your head, or are you seeing yourself? Because what you see in other people, that's exactly what they see in you. I'm so glad, and you should be too, that what we think nobody can hear but us. But are you proud of it? It's a profound question. Are you really proud when you look at someone else and you see their worst while you think that they see your best? What do you see? They say the eyes are the keys to the soul. What's in your eyes? What's the apple of your eye? It says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. What are you talking about? What are you declaring, and what are you speaking in the lives and toward the lives of other people? More than anything else, what are you saying to and about you to yourself? Do you have an overinflated opinion of yourself, or a valued opinion of yourself? Do you see you for all the things other people say that you are not? Or are you trying to live up to a facade of this lie that you've created that you're actually calling you? When are you going to allow your vision to line up with God's vision for your life? Many of us, we sought degrees in fame. Many people in this room are like myself. I have a degree from a conventional system, and I have a degree from a non-conventional system. The one thing I applaud Dr. Masters for doing is he said there's another way to do what God called us to do.
All right now.
Dr. Masters had the vision to see that there's another way to authenticate and pursue the academic presence of a person's giftings.
That's right.
He came up with a system that worked outside of the other system while it worked within that system. So when you walk around and what, I think we have 2 more days for graduation, and you turn your tassel, and you get to adorn your robe, that's the opening of opportunity. That's the birthing stool for what your gifts have summoned you to do. What are you going to do now that you have this title of master of this, doctor of that, or bachelor of this? Because it's not in the title and what it's calling you. It's what other people are going to say about your actions. I'll say this another way, a simple way for you to remember. What you say, people may not remember, but what you do, they will never forget. In closing, see, you didn't even have to hold the time up on me, did you? He's relieved. He's like, I'm so tired of holding this piece of paper. Well, it doesn't take much to tell the truth, does it? It really doesn't. Touch the person closest to you and tell them you are here for a reason. And it ain't me. I know that some of y'all are getting a little too friendly with those touches. But the truth is, you are here for a reason. And what I want you to take away as I leave this platform is that just as you just touched someone that you probably don't know, there are going to be people that are already in your lives that you do know. Did you take as much time with those people that are already in your life to touch them the way you just touched a stranger? Because no matter what you say, where you sit, or what you do, you're always touching the life of another person. And make sure that you never forget that they were in your life to touch you too. Thank you.